Welcome back to another riveting draw with me. Today we're gonna draw yet another beetle. I drew this last video. I didn't really know what to draw for today's video, but I thought why not just like draw another one of these, because I had a lot of fun and I learned a lot and I loved experimenting with my markers because I don't really use them all that much. I think today I'm gonna incorporate more colored pencil into the mix, but let's see. This time I have a couple different references and I kind of like the darker body. I really like these green spots, but I don't actually know if I'm able to do that. I'm still not confident in my marker skills, and I don't actually think I have this cream color, so I'm a little nervous, but that's okay. We're gonna do some swatches like we did last time. I want this part of the body to have like a kind of a gradient from this lighter blue to a darker blue. And I think I'm gonna try to incorporate some green spots in the upper body. I can't figure out if I want to make all the legs orange or if I'm just gonna do the hind legs like on this one. We'll figure out as we go. So these are the colors that I think will work. This is the same buttercup yellow that This is the same buttercup yellow that I used in my last video, and that did not look great, but I'm gonna try it again. Just swatch a couple colors, see how it goes. I don't really have like a greenish blue or a bluish green, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. I think I might just try to make a gradient with colored pencils instead. I think I'm gonna rely very heavily on colored pencils. See, why is it that I don't have a greenish blue, but I have two blues that look that similar? And then this orange for the legs, probably. Maybe I might also take the vermilion. But this is kind of like, it's more of like a rusty copper than like a full-on orange. I don't have that though, so either it's gonna be colored pencils again, or I'm just gonna make them orange. See, that's like way too, it's very like a very light skin color. So I don't actually know what I'm gonna do. I don't have this cream color. I don't know what to do. Are you shitting me? This is vermilion. That is orange. That's the same color. What the fuck? That is just straight up the same color. Slightly more red. Are you... I don't know how to make this cream color. What the fuck am I gonna do? This is way too green. I actually really like the shade of green that it is on the cap. But that is not that green. That is goop green. It's so ugly, y'all. I am genuinely considering just using paint, like acrylic paint. Because what am I gonna do? The only thing I could do is like literally change the color and just like make up my own. But I don't want to do that. I really like the contrast of the blue and the cream. I'm like way more nervous for this one than the last one, which is kind of shocking because the last time I had no idea what I was doing. In case you haven't seen the last video, this is my third time working with markers. I don't know what I'm doing. I genuinely think I'm just gonna go in with a cream colored acrylic paint afterwards because I don't know what to do, and that also means I can cover up any mistakes I make. Alright, so I'm mostly gonna take over from here because I was such a whiny baby during this recording. You could probably hear it in the first section of the video, and it only gets worse from there. I was so damn negative throughout this entire video. I don't know what was in the waters that day, but I was clearly feeling the effects of it. But I will try to keep the whininess out of this voiceover because I'm genuinely insufferable to listen to when I get in my like complainy moods. So you're welcome, alright? So Minecraft lied to me. The hard outer shell protecting the wings is the elytra. They have nothing to do with flying itself. But regardless of the betrayal I feel, I went in and colored the elytra with my cobalt blue marker. Alcohol markers do bleed and kind of spread out a bit from where you originally put them, which I haven't had any problems with in the past, but some of the white spots were apparently so small they immediately got covered, which, I mean, only solidified my idea of using paint for the cream colored parts, so I wasn't all that worried about it. And then I tried to make a gradient from the cobalt blue to a lighter blue, keyword here being tried. I really don't know what went wrong with maybe the colors were too different in value. I've heard that can make blending chiseled nib markers really difficult. Maybe I was too nervous and I didn't layer them enough. I don't know. All I know is that it looks really bad for now, but I feel like I managed to make it look relatively smooth by the end. But I spent a long time just being upset about how bad it looks. Alright, I've mixed a pretty decent cream color. See a little bit there? I don't know if that's actually enough or I'm gonna have to mix more, but let's just try. So many times throughout this entire process, even through scripting and editing, I really considered starting over and just trying again. And so to try and give myself some hope, or to help me decide if I should throw in the towel, I mixed up some off-white paint and painted the body, and I kind of forgot about the head until the very end, where I was so tired I decided to just come back to it later. And most of this footage, it's completely unusable because the details were so small. I had to get my entire head in front of the camera to see anything at all. But here's a surprisingly optimistic clip from when I was done painting the body and had just decided I would see this through to the end and not throw it away. I have painted everything, well, except for the head. I forgot about that. But we'll come back to it. But I really like how it's coming together with the body. It looks better on camera than in real life, I think. Sort of, not really. But I'm gonna work on the legs. And I think I'm just gonna use black colored pencils to try and blend the legs. I think that might be the easiest, actually. Starting with the orange hind legs, which was a pain in my behind. I think it turned out alright in the end. It just took a really long time. I used a combination of my colored pencils to blend the black with the orange. I think I used some warm brown too, just to make it a bit smoother, and then went over it with the same orange marker as I used for the base layer, just to homogenize everything. This is also a very textured paper, because it's watercolor paper, which just makes it really difficult to make smooth, crisp lines with colored pencils, and this is a problem that will come back up later in the video. So I went in and outlined the black with a black ballpoint pen, just to make it crispy. Now, I know I said I wouldn't be so complaining in this voiceover, but I have had a week trying to make videos. So really long story short, I recorded this entire 2-hour drawing on my phone in 4K instead of the usual HD, which honestly I didn't even notice until I started editing, and it was so slow and choppy, and it took replaying a section like 3 times before the audio would even play. And once I finally figured out what the problem was, I considered scrapping this video for, the 100th time? But I decided against it, clearly. Instead, I used the program Handbrake to convert all of the footage from 4K to 1080p, which is as high resolution as YouTube can play, so none of this affects you in the slightest. But just compressing the footage took the better half of an afternoon. Now luckily, DaVinci Resolve, the editing program I use, has a replace selected clip feature, so I could just go in and swap the 4K footage with the 1080p one real quick before DaVinci even realized what was going on, like a techie Indiana Jones. Alright, this is... I'm not super happy with this, but this is as good as it's gonna get. I'm gonna take a quick break before I come back because my back is killing me. So I'm gonna get something to eat, and then we'll return to finish off the legs and then deal with the head. But the tech problems don't end there, because why would they? Because while this video was running on 5 frames per second, my moth draw with me was also crashing and burning to the ground. Every time I tried to render the video so I could post it, it kept crashing and telling me there was a problem with the second file. See, I named every clip in chronological order to know what order they go in, but nothing was wrong with said file. Everything played smoothly. I even called in my very techie dad to come look at it, but neither of us could figure out what the problem was. We genuinely spent the whole day on it. And while I was ranting about it on our evening walk, the only other thing I could think of doing was just re-editing the part that it crashed on, which I really didn't want to do because in my head it would take like 2 hours. But once we got home, I did just that. It took like 5 minutes and it didn't work, like at all. So I decided to look at the part of the video that it did render, and for some reason it completely wiped out the gluing and sketching part, you know, the most heavily edited part, and just replaced it with a very laggy, choppy line art. And after being completely baffled and being Bob from Bob's Burgers,
call the police, and they will come immediately, because this is serious.
For like a solid 5 minutes until I finally stopped freaking out and actually looked at what was going on. It turned out somewhere along the line, DaVinci had gotten the files messed up and called the sketch, aka file 1, file 2, which wasn't a visible problem on the editing timeline. But when I tried to render 2 file 2s, it got completely confused and just crashed. Which, as with many things in life, it took a whole day and 3 brainy people to figure it out and 2 seconds to fix. So I was able to upload the video, and I learned a valuable lesson on paying attention to the file names. Because I had actually noticed earlier in the day that the file names were messed up, but I just genuinely didn't think it was a big deal. So yeah, in case you read the description on the moth video and were curious as to what I meant, this is what I meant. A day-long headache solved in 2 seconds. And while I was trying to do the voiceover for this video, the first time I forgot to press record. The second time For some reason, it just kept repeating the last 2 seconds of what I said throughout the entire recording. So now I'm re-recording it for the 3rd time, and I might just go take a nap if this one doesn't work. I'm gonna add some highlights on the eyes, and then I'm gonna go lay down because I'm so tired. I might come back sometime and add some details, some colored pencils. Yeah, right now this is where I'm gonna leave it. I'm tired. I'm gonna go lay down. My phone is dying. I'm dying. Bye. Hello, everybody. I am back several days later. Weeks, I think. I can't remember how long it's been. But basically today, I want to add some color pencils to this. Try to give the blue more blending and make this kind of like deeper and more dark. I don't think I can fix the face. It looks kind of angry. I can't decide if it bothers me or if it's really funny, but I'm just gonna keep going regardless. Oh yeah, I also talked about adding some green to it. Completely forgot about that. Let's just pull out the green. See if it can't motivate me to actually put in more effort into this drawing. The paper has like a lot of texture and it's really like coming through with these colored pencils. I don't know if it's super obvious from where you're sitting, but it's very obvious up close. I have considered either like starting over completely, which I really don't want to do, or just scrapping it and like pretending like this video never happened, which I also kind of don't want to do because I put a lot of hours into it. Let's add some purple, see if that'll fix everything. I know I'm being very harsh. I don't like it when the YouTubers I watch are very harsh on themselves because it's like, dude, look at what you're making. Like, genuinely look at it. It's so good. I'm just having fun, I think. This is my version of fun. Sometimes it's fun to be overly negative about everything. I feel like the paper's so much more textured over here than here. I don't get it. But it's really fucking up my groove. It's fucking up my groove that I can't get into these grooves, you know? Okay, so I ran out of storage and I spent like the last 20 minutes trying to clean up my phone enough to be able to record the last bit. Luckily, you didn't miss much when my phone stopped recording. I was just talking about how this bit, this side, is a lot more textured than this side, and I think it has something to do with the marker because you can see this side that is less textured has more bleed through, aka more marker on it. So my thought is if I go over it with marker again, that might make some of the texture disappear. Now if you saw the first one with the green beetle of this, I'm gonna do exactly what I did with the legs, and I'm gonna go in with the black marker that smells like marzipan and darken just the front 2 legs. I can't be bothered to do these. I can really feel that I'm a digital artist for the most part in scenarios like this. I get in the zone and I do like really long lines without lifting my pen, and when I'm doing digital art and then make a mistake, it really bites me in the butt because then I undo like everything. But I just caught myself being like, oh, I should lift my pen, so if I want to undo, I don't undo everything. Sorry to say, that's sadly not how this works. And then I'm gonna do exactly what I did with this one, and I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna outline the outside. And for this one, I'm also gonna outline this part to create a distinction between the, I don't actually know what these are called. Is that their elytra? It's the thing that protects the wings. It's not the wings. I know some people say that and it pisses me off. And this part's always like super scary, especially when you mess up like that. I forgot. It kind of like goes in. Whoopsie daisies. So from here on out, it's mostly me muttering incomprehensibly to myself, which I will not even attempt to make you sit through. But basically, I just finished outlining the body and then added some final touches to the colored pencils that are barely visible. But at least I was self-aware that it was bad. I think I just underestimated just how bad it is and overestimated my own abilities. The last section might have been utter nonsense, but I can fix it in post, right? Editing bug. I'll fix it in post, so I make sense. That pencil that I can go and erase. This video is probably all over the place, and I'm very sorry for that. I did not want to do this drawing in the slightest. I don't know what's up with my brain, but sometimes it just decides I don't want to do that thing, and then it's really hard to do that thing, and even harder to make it sound like I actually do want to do that thing when I don't. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will probably, maybe, if I want to, continue this bug series of giant flower beetles. Bye.